Hello, everyone. I have a genuine question with all sincerity. I promise, yeah, it's no judgment. I just, I'm trying to figure out how do y'all just watch TV or like shows or movies? Um, yeah, that's the question. Question mark, right? Obviously, with your eyes open and like by doing so. But I guess where my question is coming in is because I find it difficult for me to take time to do that for myself, even though there's times like there's so many things that I want to watch. And whenever I do take time to watch a movie or watch a show, it sparks so much creativity and I really enjoy myself, and like it brings to me a sense of calmness sometimes. And I say that genuinely and truthfully because I am also having a human experience, and my human experience is not very common from many people. I moved around a lot. I didn't always have the space or the privacy or even the opportunity to select what I wanted to watch. My other clock says 12:21, by the way. Um, it is currently 2:14 Eastern Standard Time, right? And so because my upbringing was very different, I spent a lot of time either being outdoors or being creative. I wrote a lot, and hello, greetings, creative. I journaled a lot. That was something that I just absolutely love doing, is writing. And for the last, like, especially last year, I didn't really write anything. I didn't journal anything. And I found myself like really in a deep place of contemplation, because there is a part of me that enjoys watching movies and TV and feel comfortable doing so. But there's a big part of me that freaks out and feels like I'm wasting time, and that there can be other productive things that I can be doing with my time, because I'm studying so many different subjects, so many different things right now. And I like learning that when I'm not doing that, hello, greetings. And I'm going to ask the question again because I see that you just came in, and it's, again, with all sincerity, right? So I'm sharing this because I want y'all to like really like think about this in a way when you give your answer. It as stupid as it sounds, right? Like people be like, that's a stupid question. No question is really stupid. Stupid is a perception. A question is just a question, right? And because, again, of my experiences, when I find myself taking the opportunity to watch a show or watch a movie, I'm just like, sometimes the anxiety or the anxiousness or the self-critic can be so harsh on me, where I have to like literally just turn off the TV or just take moments to breathe and center myself, to allow myself to enjoy the opportunity to even watch a show or watch a movie. And a lot of the times, like I said, there's so many shows and movies I want to see, and I don't give myself. And so here, this is where it comes from, right? Is earlier today, I was thinking about the show Games of Thrones, and I never finished it. I never, there's a part where I want to like catch where I left off, and I was doing work actually, and I'm, going about my business, doing my stuff. And I'm like, I really want to watch an episode. Like, I really want to allow myself to watch an episode of it. And I was like, all I gotta do is like download the app and just like, you know, put it on and watch it. And just saying that to myself triggered so much in me, where it was like, peace, God. Like, do you know how many things you have to get done? That's a distraction. And then I find myself looking at those other things and saying, well, wouldn't those things also be a distraction to a certain experience in my life? Because I am allowed to have moments of pleasure, and I do. And I find pleasure in my studies. Like, for example, I love to study astrology. I find it pleasurable. I find it exciting. I find it soothing and calming and educational and useful. Like, actually useful. When I'm getting into different yogic modalities or tantric modalities, or just different spiritual subjects, right? Even if it's not spiritual, like everything is spiritual, right? So let me correct myself. It could be even pertaining to like law and ethics or medical, or, certain principles, or, certain plants, whatever it is. Like, I really like learning. And I find pleasure in that. I really do. So because it's something productive and I find pleasure in it, I don't see it as a form of a distraction. However, when I take the opportunity to watch a movie, I find the pleasure in the moment. But I don't always, I guess where it is useful is whatever whatever messages I get or I perceive from the movie, I'm able to share those messages with others, and allow it to be a catalyst to spiritual ascension or evolution, right? Namaste, namaste. Greetings. So, yeah, how do y'all do that? And feel free to come on live. Like, I promise it's a sincere question. I'm probably going to post this so that way anyone who's not live and catches the replay hears this may have an answer, right? Because even though, and it's funny, we're talking about TV, right? Mr. No TV comes in, my godbrother. Hey Melanie, greetings, happy new year. Maybe you're listening to this and maybe you resonate with it, maybe you don't. But the question, y'all, that I have for y'all, hi Trina, the question that I have for everyone that's just coming in is, how do you take time to just allow yourself to watch a show or a movie? Like, do you just sit down and say, this is what I'm going to do, and you just do it? Or do you like plan it ahead? Like, all right, around this time, I'm going to allow myself the opportunity to like watch something? Or like, do you have shows that are scheduled? And it sounds so silly. Like, listen, I'm a firm believer that even like a psychiatrist needs another psychiatrist, or a therapist needs a therapist, and a coach needs a coach. And so we are all having a human experience, and there's certain areas in life where we can all learn from each other, right? And this is a genuine question. I would like to learn better ways of allowing myself to engage in watching television without the harsh criticism. Because here I am choosing to go on live and actually move through this energy with y'all, right? It's a form of energy work. I do gain a lot when I'm watching. So I guess as I'm speaking to you and all, telling you how it makes me feel, I'm also revealing and unraveling in the present moments how anxious it actually makes me and how over thoughtful I can be about it. So Melanie says, I plan my day. Yesterday I said today is going to be my lazy day and I'm going to lay down, relax, watch movies, etc. I'd be trying that. I've gotten better. I have. Trina says, part of my evening routine, but to be honest, TV watches me. But damn us, that's another message. Damn, I was just saying to my friend, every unfolding forever student. Absolutely. We are forever students. We are forever learning. And my phone is ringing. Whoever's calling me, if you catch the replay, you know why I didn't answer. Okay. Yeah. And then I have so many books, and I haven't finished all the books that I've read. Again, because I am a person who tends to study a lot of different subjects. I tend to read multiple books at different times. Like every room that you go to, you're gonna find a book that I am actually reading, and it takes me time to finish reading these books because I'll read a chapter and sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to process that. And then sometimes I feel like I'm good and I'll keep going and I'll read to the next chapter or something. And then I realize I didn't really process everything that was in the previous chapter because and so, this is when I'm working with clients, right? It's about being very honest. I'm having a human experience just as you are. And just because I manage my life the way that I am able to process things, it is because I have found a formula for me to be able to do the things and manage the things that I would like to do. Like Melanie says, she plans her day in advance and says, well, tomorrow I'm going to have a lazy day and this is what I'm going to do. I started to do that. And if I see that lazy day or because I'll if I get into a show, which it takes a lot for me to get onto the TV. So if I'm in that process and I get into a show and I actually like it, I'm like, okay, I want to take time to just watch this. And I'll say F that. I really would. But then if I'm seeing that maybe the next day or certain days go on and I'm still finding myself taking a lot of time to watch that, I will definitely force myself and tell myself, no, that's enough. And I will turn it off. And then that's not the problem, turning it off. It's allowing myself to put it back on to watch it again. Because I'll go months. I literally don't have a TV in my bedroom. Or any of the bedrooms. I have a TV in the living room because it was gifted to me. Because if not, there wouldn't even be a television in my house. And it's a catch-22, and I'm grateful for it, right? Because like there was like, oh well, when people come over, and it was a great catalyst for when people come over, we could take time and like watch a movie or something together, right? And so it worked out. It worked out. And it wasn't that I couldn't get a television for myself. It's just, again, my upbringing was different. When I was a teenager, I had my own place, so I had the opportunity to watch movies. And I did, like, I worked a lot, but I also, like, I worked full time and I went to school full time. And I used to watch TV. Like, I managed it. How I used to do it. You know, time is a perception. Time is really something that we allow ourselves to create through the willingness of our energy to manifest whatever it is that we want to manifest, to make the time for it. Is what I really believe. Like, when people say I don't have time, which only recently I had found myself saying that I don't have the time to do that. Bullshit. We create the time. Because time moves differently in different dimensions and frequencies. And depending upon the frequency and dimension that you are on, depends on how fast or slow the time will move. Therefore, you are creating time. And time is just to be a measurement of manifestation, the distance between manifestations, between thoughts and action. And yeah, I mean, I can go on and on about that. I don't mean to rant on about that, but that's the time part is the part of it that makes me feel like the illusion. I hold on to that thread and I say, I don't have time to be doing this right now because I could be doing something more productive with this time. Because we don't really gain back our time. Like, all we have is now. And yes, we are time travelers and we can quantum leap to the past and change certain things. I firmly believe that because I have seen myself break through certain karmic lessons or genetic karmas and generational stuff, and also like rewire my psyche to have a different experience, right, through the quantum rounds of time and doing that and going back through the experience. And so it actually causes an actual quantum leap, a timeline jump, right? I've had those experiences. However, in the physical, time keeps going, and I have not Benjamin Button reversed back in time yet with my aging, so to speak, right? I may still look young. I may even look younger now at the age that I am than when I was a teenager, right? I may have looked older when I was a teenager because of all the like substances that I did. The sound frequency of my voice may have shifted and changed throughout time, throughout the experiences of time with the frequencies that I tap into, right? Bring it back. But I physically am not appearing as a baby. And so, and nor am I physically a baby right now with you. So in the now is more just energetic foreplay of time and storylines and timelines and frequencies and the manifestations of, right? When I'm watching a show, I'm doing that at the same time. I tap into imagination at times. I tap into timeline jumping and creativity and so much things, right? And when I'm doing that with books too. So I guess I don't think I think I genuinely thought I needed to ask the question to y'all, just so I can hear myself ask the question out loud, and then hear my thought processes out loud, because I kind of feel kind of silly right now. And when I work with clients, right, things work for them. They get the results that they get because the formula works for them, right? I do things according to what is for their highest and greatest good, right? And what may work for them may or may not work for me, right? For example, there's certain detoxes, right? I'll do, for example, hopping, right? I can sit down and be so cool, calm, and collected and centered in hape. And if I do hape on another person, I might be blowing their fucking spirit out of their body for a moment. And like, you know, some people purge, they just start throwing up, or they, you know, are spitting a lot, or having, you know, needing me to hold space as they're releasing, and whatever it may have you, right? They're going through their process. And when I'm going through my process, it's very different for me. So for some people, they don't even need hape at all to have that experience. They may just need to do a breathing session with me, right? Do some pranayama. We'll sit down and go through certain, like, you know, if they're trying to release from their emotional body, we'll do an emotional breath work together. And they pieces, and they're just going to release, and they don't need hape, right? Where another client may not, what works for everybody may not work for you, right? And so that's where I'm going with this. And so it wasn't until I said it out loud, because in my brain, ego was like, yeah, girl, don't be taking the time to go do that. You need to study. And the truth of the matter is, I really do need to study, because I am not finished. Hi, Connie. I am not finished. And the truth is, I'm never going to be finished. So I thank you. Who was it? Mazzy was like, every unfolding forever student. What is forever? Do you know, I fall in love forever and a lifetime and decades all the fucking time. Like, the love of my life, I'm so in love with myself. And like, there's times I'm hard on myself. There's times that I may dislike certain aspects or experiences or whatever may have you, that I want to grow and shift and change or whatever it may be. But I love myself, right? And so when I connect with other people and I love them, like, I love them forever. And physically, sometimes that forever is only a moment. And it doesn't stop being forever in spirit. It doesn't stop being forever in love, right? It doesn't take away from the fact that, you know, if separation occurs or something like that, you know, I begin a grieving process or something. Hey, Logan. But even in the grief, there's that forever love. Right? It's loving so much that realizing there's some sort of discomfort or pain because of an attached thought process that had occurred in that foreverness, 1244. In that moment of love where time is infinite, we have created some sort of projected timeline to occur, to structure the reality of what we perceive love to be in that space, in that frequency. And when that love, quote unquote, expires, or the personable relationship ends, again, quote unquote, right? The experience, or there's some sort of quote unquote disconnection or separation. So many different emotions can come through, because the perception of forever has been tainted to some sort of illusion. Again, this is why it's a perception. It's a projection of where we want the time to flow and how we want the time to flow. Because again, as going back to the beginning, we create the time. We make time. Killing me softly with those heels, girl. Sheesh. You so silly. I really, honestly, I had to put on some socks though, because and if y'all know me, I don't really like to wear socks like that. Like, I used to love wearing socks all the dang on time. And then I went through the experience of my feet was like, girl, you better make love to me. And because it was a body part that I had like so much like traumas around and whatnot, and so storylines and stuff I've created in my mind. And so the love that I gave my feet wasn't the same love frequency that it wanted to experience, right? And so I would cover it with socks, and that was the time it had. That was the time it had to expose itself for a moment, and it got covered, because that's what I chose to do in that moment in time. Even though I never stopped loving myself, the ways that I loved myself, I didn't have the time or the energy to put into my feet at that time like that, right? And so moving forward, when I started giving myself that like time and loving on my feet, I really was like, what the fuck? Let's take these socks off. Like, I don't care what people think about my feet. I don't care what people are gonna say. Like, I need my toes to breathe. They just want to breathe. Like, I could feel the pores of the soles of my feet really just like wanting to, give and exchange the oxidation process and carbon process with the world, right? So that being said, I don't really wear socks like that, and I did today afterwards because it's fucking cold, and I love the cold, so I'm not complaining, but it's fucking cold. Like, I have the heater on and I like walking barefooted, but it was fucking cold, so I put some socks on. But interesting enough, that it's weird, right? Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe my feet is colder because I have socks on. Because, like, now that I'm speaking about it, I'm fucking hot, right? And we really create temperature also, right? We create time just like we create temperature, because, again, it's all, we are creators. We are fucking creators. Logan, I'm going on a fucking rant because I want to watch a show of Games of Thrones, and I'm having a difficult time allowing myself to turn on the TV. So I'm processing emotions with my emotional regulation and emotional intelligence going hand in hand in harmony with what I do. Sorry, you get used to the temp. Yeah, man, listen. Your feet. So, like, how people think it's crazy to, like, sleep naked with another person because you're going to be cold? No. Body heat. You actually, like, create more heat that way. I love, anyways, neither here nor there, because we, It's healthy to sleep naked, y'all, if y'all haven't already. And, like, don't be afraid of, like, if there's going to be a fire and you got to run out the door and everybody's going to see you naked. Well, I'll be damned, there's a naked ass. But, I mean, so what? We're all born naked. It happens, you know? It is what it is. They're going to see where you got hairs at. They're going to see scars. I mean, it happens. It happens. I think about that shit, right? Because I be like, yo, I'm pretty sure I was naked in the astral realm quite a few times. And, like, you know, but there's a lot of times when, like, I'm really clothed in the astral realm and I'm not clothed in the physical realm. And I'm like, oh, see, like, that's consciousness. That's another version of me roaming through that frequency in that realm, in that dimension, in that space, because she's clothed, but I'm not. Like, we create our realities, y'all. And the socks is probably making me colder, because if I didn't have the socks on, it would get used to the temperature, like you mentioned, and it will adjust and it will no longer be cold. Because I don't know when was the last time I had socks on in my house when it was cold, and it's definitely been colder in my house than what it is today. Something's going on here, guys. All right. Yes, exactly. I'm definitely taking off my socks now because my socks. Because my feet wants to breathe, y'all. It actually feels warmer now. See, so it also depends on the fabric also, because certain fabric will produce more heat or more coolness for your body. Talking about frequency and creating, right? Like, it's actual, our clothing is there's a magic to it, there's a science to it. It could create more frequency, or it could cut off frequency as well. So I think this was cutting off my frequency, and that's why I had to come on here asking y'all about how do y'all take time to watch TV, because homegirls having a hard time. But we got a lot done. If you pay attention to the details, right? You pay attention to my process, right? This is not to say it's going to work for all of you, but if you're paying attention, you can see the avenues. It seems like I went to so many different scattered areas, but if you're truly paying attention, all those areas are connected. And what is the connection? Self first. I'm not sitting here really I'm asking y'all about y'all. But the truth of the matter is, regardless of what your answer is, I have to first accept or deny your answer. I have to find a perception in your answer that I choose to receive or decline. I have to create the perception based on the energetic exchange of how I'm interpreting the messages. The message is just a message. You gave an answer. The fact is, I am on this side and you are on that side. You are providing insights of your perception or actions and moving that energy towards me in this side. And I'm choosing whether or not I receive it as truth or informative for me. I may just let all of that shit go and still be in the space of not knowing how to create time for myself or a solution to my patterns, to my emotions, to my perceptions, even if y'all provided all the answers for me. Right? And that's what happens a lot of the time. Some people aren't complaining because they want a solution or an answer. They just want to be heard, or they just whatever. Some people actually ask questions because they want to learn. And I love learning. I mentioned that, right? But am I truly learning in this experience, in this moment? I will say yes, because it wasn't until I asked the question out loud that I felt like I learned more about myself than when I was fucking quiet in my, well, not quiet. I was chit-chattering in my fucking brain, like giving myself all these excuses. And it's not until we're having this beautiful manifestation of time and love and space and that y'all are holding for me. Look at all of y'all healers right now, whether you subscribe to the title or not. Like, y'all are all holding space in this moment, and real energy is moving and shifting. And I'm going to allow myself to take time to study and take time to watch an episode of Games of Thrones, and I'm gonna fucking have a good time. Now, do I have to figure out my process of, do I plan ahead to do this? Because I find myself that I do that. I'll like plan when I'm gonna watch it, but I don't always like planning shit, y'all. Like, there's a big part of me that understands structure and loves it. And then there's a big part of me that's just like spontaneous, and I love that. And I think where I'm at right now is the integration of both versions of myself, because again, moving around so much as a child, I didn't have the stability, the practice of privacy, of, everything was just always, I gotta pick up and go whenever everyone else said, and when it was done. And I love my parents. I chose that experience because they allowed me to be the free spirit. And so, as a teenager, I was in a relationship and we had a place together, and like, then that was done, and I started like moving around again too. And then I was like, okay, going through that experience, and I said, fuck this shit, right? Going to work full-time, going to college full-time, and all this shit. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking go and live in the woods, and I'm gonna fucking live in my car, and I'm gonna fucking travel. And I fucking did. And I left, and I was like, fuck it. And then I was super fucking spontaneous and didn't have any fucking structure. And I was like, wait a minute, I never really had structure. I always kind of been a hippie gypsy. I always fucking been a fucking traveler. I've always believed I was a fucking soul traveler, time traveler. I mean, the very first time that I consciously went to go meditate, I actually had an astral projected experience, outer body experience. And I even pulled my cousin out of her body, and she was fucking meditating for like a whole fucking year. And then, she got kind of mad at me, even though she always wanted to have the outer body experience. She was mad that I pulled her out of her body to have the experience. But I was very naive. I didn't know that people didn't do that. I just fucking sitting down on a fucking pillow. Like, I'm fucking sitting down on a fucking pillow, having a fucking experience, not knowing what the fuck to expect, and having a fucking outer body experience, being fucking excited, seeing my cousin sitting next to me, and I'm like, hey, and not realizing that by my soul talking to her, like, I can see myself we're sitting here looking at everybody in the fucking room, right? Having this fucking experience, pulled her out of her body to have that experience. And then she was more mad because at that point, I didn't know. I was excited and I went and I traveled, and she had a travel of her own, and it was beautiful. And she spoke to me after. She wasn't so mad after, because she always wanted an outer body experience. But it was just a shock to her sister, right? And she had to understand that after the meditation, when we was back in our body, like, you know, her shock wasn't my shock. I thought that was something that everybody did. I thought it was normal. I didn't know, like, that was something that people desired to experience. I was like, all I thought was that was meditation. I thought, this is what happens when you sit down and meditate. I'm gonna fucking start meditating all the fucking time. Well, later on in life, as I begin to formulate structure in my life, I leave from my travels and I come back to this world, and I'm like dealing with family issues that needs to be dealt with, that I realized later down the line, it's not just health issues for that individual, but this is an actual karmic clearing for multiple generations, right? And I tap into the conscious side of my healing abilities and what I'm capable of. But then I start going into books and my studies, and I love it. But then I start overthinking and creating boxes within boxes within boxes of what my spirituality should look like. Of what my spirituality should look like. And then it became harder to have an outer body experience. It became hard to travel into the astral realm and experience certain things. And then I was becoming a critic on myself and being harder on myself, because I'm like, ooh, these books and all this information, and I'm loving the information because I'm expanding my consciousness with this information that I didn't receive before. A lot of it was explaining my spirituality and what I was doing. It had names, it had words. I was like, oh my gosh, I do this. This is what it's called. Oh my gosh, like, you know, these experiences is not just me. And so that's what made me want to go down the rabbit hole of information. But then I started hearing other people's experiences, and there became a subconscious comparison. And then I found myself saying, I need to be more structured with how I'm gonna do my spiritual practices. I need to create a time frame, a schedule, if you will, to do these things. Because if you don't have a schedule and you're not as organized, people aren't gonna take you serious. If you don't have the degree or the paperwork, because that's where everybody's fucking conditioning is fucking at, you can be the best fucking healer, but if you don't have the fucking certification for it, I don't know if I want to go to that person. Well, then wipe your own ass, why don't you? Whatever, right? And then there's things that I have healed with myself that wasn't based on time, because I had to experience my past life to comprehend what happened to me in that space, in that dimension, in that time, where this person will say it's a past life, but in that moment, it was my present self witnessing a present moment. It was now. It was not the past. I did a meditation, a past life regression meditation on myself, because I wanted to know why I was having certain experiences, and what I saw in the moment it was a past life, but in that memory, it was present. It was active. It was now. And it wasn't until I took the time to get acquainted with that version of myself to say, all right, well, if that was the past, then it shouldn't keep affecting me now. However, because what happened 2 seconds ago already happened 2 seconds ago. I'm not holding on to it. So it has came and passed. It just is. It moved. Right? But when you're holding on to certain traumas, when you're holding on to certain energies, you're holding on to it presently still, even if you're not presently aware that it's happening now. Like, it's just, you're the creator of the time. So I started doing womb healing. I didn't read a book. This was all my spontaneous self, just tapping into my soul, trusting my soul. I didn't schedule when I was going to go to meditation. I just did. And so it's okay to pause whenever you want to pause. It's okay to speed up whenever you want to speed up. People may or may not like it, but you don't have to accept that. Or you can. It could be good or bad, however you perceive it. Whatever it is, it doesn't change it from being what it is. Whether you are on the other side of this screen and you're like, yo, this girl's speaking gibberish, that don't got nothing to do with me. That's your perception. What got to do with me is the process that I'm going through of unraveling time, knowing that we are creators of time, and that whether I'm fucking scheduling fucking time to do something or just being present with my now, creating time and what I want to do with that time, that's all me. You can't even do that for me if you wanted to. You can create a schedule for me, and it's up to me to follow that schedule. And you know how I know that? I learned that when I was working with clients, because when I'm doing one-on-one mentorship, I create a schedule. I do. All right. Like I said, I had to go through that masculine side of me to create a structure. I was like, they need to know that I'm serious in this and that I want to help them, and that we can do this. This can work, right? And so a goal without a deadline is just a dream. And so let's create a time structure. Let's put each day in a box, and let's put each exercise in accordance, in the box according to that time frame. So I did. I actually, I should find my notebook, but I have an actual notebook where it has 7 days of the week, 24 hours in a day, and each hour's a box. And each box has a different color coordination according to the planets and the chakras and the things that align with each other. It's all good. It's all good. He said, gotta go do 3D shit. Yeah. Much love. Enjoy your Games of Thrones. Yeah. And formulating that structure, it allows, I would see what people need to unpack in that box, in their box, right? And so that I needed that masculine energy. And I'm in the space of wanting to still schedule and wanting to be spontaneous at the same time, which is where the whole, how do you just make time to watch TV? Hi, Casey. How do you just take time to watch TV? By just taking the fucking time to do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's how I'm unpacking my boxes right now. And as I'm unpacking these boxes and you're holding space for me here, I thank you for holding space. And know that I take full responsibility for my energy. And so even though I exuded a lot of excitement and some anxiety, I'm pretty sure y'all didn't feel my anxiety because I'm responsible for my energy. And so as I'm going through this process, I allow myself to emotionally regulate myself before expressing myself in that way, so that even though I'm vocalizing anxiety out to y'all, I'm not expelling anxiety out to y'all, so that y'all don't have to receive that frequency of the anxiety. Now, not to say that I don't have moments of like having really bad anxiety. For those of y'all that know, and it's funny, right? Because we're talking about all of this, and I just remember talk about I have books in every room, right? So I have a book in front of me. I am gonna tag her in this one, and it's K.A.L.I, Kill Anxiety, Live Immensely. K.A.L.I is a goddess of time. In fact, we are actually leaving the Kali Yuga time and moving into golden age, right? And so Kali Yuga, and the ending of Kali Yuga is not to be confused with the ending of Kali Ma herself, right? Like Kali Yuga is, the process of a time frame or a timeline, if you will, and the unfolding of it, and the purging of all the impurities and everything. And Kali Ma is such a warrior, and she's in her feminine, but she hits her mark and she's without failing. Hi, Sandra. Hello, everyone. Thank you for those of you that are joining. And right. There's times when I have really, really, really bad anxiety, and I just tap into my spiritual tool belt. I tap into my spiritual tool belt. So when I'm taking the time to watch TV and I'm my harsh critic and I'm gaining this anxiety, like I said, sometimes I'll pause the episode and I'll do some breathing techniques to allow myself to recenter, recalibrate myself, and give myself the allowance of that moment and say, this is what's happening and it's okay. You are safe to take time to receive this pleasure, right? Or I will just hold space for my anxiety and listen to what is going on so that I can kill the illusion, but honor the experience and go back to self and make a decision or a determination based on what just transpired. For example, this was my version of what the fuck. Okay? Spiritual guidance, y'all. We all can produce that for each other in different ways, right? And so we all just teach it differently. We all do it differently. And this is why I work the way that I work, because I can give you all the tools. You can give me all the tools, but this is going back to the structure, right? Creating a structure and knowing if it works for a client or not, right? I can give them a schedule. I could give them a formula. And if whatever it is that they are unpacking during that hour, they have to first choose to take the initiative to do the exercise or not. If they choose to do the exercise, obviously, like, we do the follow-up calls, everything like that. We see if it's working, what's not, etc., etc. And we make the changes from there. But I cannot force you to follow the formula. I cannot force you to follow the schedule. It just is what it is. And that's how I know it works, right? Just kind of, it sounded like I went into a rant, and I kind of did, but I'm bringing it back full circle, because I started that thought process, that sentence, and I didn't finish. And one of the main things here that we're talking about is the anxiety of not being able to finish things, and how we are forever learning and growing and unfolding, and we can't really put love in a box, right? We can't put forever in a box, even though we do. And so even when you think you finish a book from beginning to end, you may not actually be finished with that book, because you may be still digesting the information from that book, or utilizing what you have read from that book and applying it in other areas of your life. And so that energy or information is with you forever, because the love frequency is forever beyond the constructs of that time in that box that you spent reading the book. So when I find myself being hard on myself, like, damn, you still haven't finished that book, I think about that. Well, even if I allowed myself to finish reading that book, I'm probably going to go back and read it again at some point, because that information just blew my fucking mind, and I have some like digesting to do, right? Or I may not pick it up again and ever read it again. But as stated, you're never really finished with the book. The book is still, now the book is in you. Yes, free will, choice to be responsible for you. Be responsible for your choices you make, no matter if it's right or wrong. And what is right and what is wrong. Hi, Bullet Man. Long time no see there, buddy, old pal. I'm feeling a bit silly, y'all. So I thank you all. I'm done with the rants. Thank you all for holding space. I'm done with the rant, y'all. I've already made the decision that I was going to study and watch Games of Thrones, okay? Separately, not simultaneously, because that's a real thing that happens too, right? I'll be sitting here trying to study, do one thing, and then maybe watching like YouTube on the other side or something like that. Or we call it multitasking. That was a real process, y'all. My feet is sweating. That was the real reason why I took off the socks, because I went from cold to hot. Because when you're really doing this energy work, you be sweating. Like, I'm sweating my underarms. And then I don't shave. So, like, my underarms is really, really fucking hot right now. I don't stink, though, thank goodness. Like, but I don't really shave. Sometimes. Yeah, I don't stink. You want to smell me? And I didn't put no deodorant on, because I'm not musty right now. But sometimes I'll use like plant-based deodorant, or sometimes I'll use like a lemon. Sometimes I really do be stank though, and I'll be like, oh well, you just gonna have to smell my stink because I'm purging something right now or something. But like, no, it's just fluids moving, the water molecules moving from all this information. And it's like, what the fuck, bitch? We just went through like mad fucking layers of like your inner child experience to your teenage experience to your adult life, and why you are figuring out how you have an issue watching television. Don't watch me, y'all watch TV. Alright, I'm done. Alright, I'm done for real. It's 15 here and 40 wind chill. Or negative. Oh, it's negative 15 with negative 40 wind chill. Ooh, see? Temperature. You created. Because I was just so fucking hot. And now I'm like, I'm cold. Just, like, I'm legit. I got legit cold. And I love the cold. Like, I'm a winter baby, and, like, I have to sleep with a quilt all year round, even in the summertime. But I fucking love the fucking cold. I'd be like, yes, bitches, it's fucking snowing. Got a problem? I fucking love it. Oh, you're complaining because it's cold and it's snowing? Well, that's your fucking problem. How about them apples, asshole? And then they'd be like, I just want it to be hot. And then the sun comes out in the summertime and it's like, burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all want in life, for real. And so we see these temperatures. That's a lot. Make sure you're drinking pineapple juice, some orange juice, some vitamin C. You're drinking something warm, drinking lots of fluid, lots of water. And you are bundling up, because even though time is a matter of perception of your creation, and so is temperature, if you haven't programmed your body to be in alignment with that frequency, you can definitely hurt yourself. And I'm not trying to hurt nobody, so that's just my disclaimer. You do what you will. I'm not responsible for nobody, okay? We're standing, like Logan was talking about, standing barefooted on the snow. You do so at your own risk, okay? All right. We love y'all. We love you. Bye, Sandra. Bye, everybody. I'm really going this time, for real. I'm done. Thank you. Peace.